With that, we will call the Western Water Regular Board Meeting of June 17th to order at 9:30. And Ms. Ford, may we have roll call, please?
Thank you. Good morning. Director Gardner.
I am here.
Director Torres.
I'm here.
Director Denstedt. Director Risby.
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning, President Roten.
And I am also here.
Thank you. President Roten, you do have a quorum today.
Okay, thank you. With that, we will move to the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'd like to invite Tina Doughton. Now, I should have no trouble with your name because mine is the same except with an R. But mine is Roten.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sure you get a lot of different
I get a lot of different pronunciations.
Yes. And you are the Asset Management Coordinator, Enterprise Asset Management Operations Department.
I am.
So before you do the pledge, can you just introduce yourself a little bit, how long you've been here, and that kind of thing?
Of course. My name is Tina Doughton. I've been with Western for since 2018. I started off as a part-timer and then moved up to full-time administrative assistant. And in 2025, I became a 2024, I became an asset management coordinator.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oops. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we will move on to item 4, public comments. Ms. Ford, do we have any public comments today?
President Roten, I've received no request to speak in the room and have had received no written comments by the deadline.
Okay, thank you. We'll go on to item 5, presentations, Keep Riverside Clean and Beautiful Volunteer of the Year Award.
Well,
you wanna-
this is a good special one that we don't get to do very often.
Yeah.
So I'm going to invite Michelle Adams up to kind of kick this off for us. Michelle?
Thank you, Craig, members of the board. We're very excited to bring a presentation to you today from Keep Riverside Clean and Beautiful. We are a partner with them in the community, and we sit on their advisory board. I'm excited to say that last year I transitioned my seat on the KRCB advisory board to Ken Smith, who oversees our water efficiency and education programs here at Western. He's been really heavily involved with Keep Riverside Clean and Beautiful, and this past year at their Greatest American Cleanup, they recognized Ken as their Volunteer of the Year, and so I'm here to invite Stephanie Bell, their Executive Director, to say a few things about Ken and present the award, and then we have a quick photo op. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie.
Good morning. The Distinguished Volunteer of the Year Award goes to an individual that goes above and beyond the typical responsibilities of a volunteer. This person is seen at nearly all KRCB events, is always leading a helping hand, and offers insight and feedback whenever needed. I'm excited to recognize as this year's Distinguished Volunteer of the Year, KRCB board member Ken Smith.
Oh, nice. Nice award.
And if we could have the board.
Yeah. It would be nice to have the board.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Sorry, should have told you that 10 seconds ago.
Well, and maybe they can do one too, just.
Want to do one real quick and easier, and then we'll have the board jump in and out?
please. Give me a nice big smile. Craig, step out to your left a little bit more. Perfect. There we go. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yes, then yes. Not 2 days, 1 day. Yep.
All right. Well, congratulations to Ken. Well deserved. I know just seeing him in action here at Western, and I can imagine that just extends on to keep Riverside clean and beautiful, so.
I would also like to add that, you know, we add employees and you never know, you know, what's really going to happen. And Ken has just taken the initiative to be out in the city and volunteer for these things and participate everywhere. And, you know, sometimes it's not really clear what customer experience does. And this is what we do. We're trying to get out into the community and help and do good things. And, you know, he's getting an award for doing it. So it's great
Absolutely.
recognition for Western.
So it was mentioned that, is it this Saturday is the county cleanup that they do?
It passed the big Great American Cleanup.
Yeah, they already did it? Oh, okay. Is that, yeah, okay. I thought he said something was Saturday, so maybe it's a different one. Or maybe he said it was last Saturday. I don't know. Anyway, item 6, consent calendar. A and B, do we have anyone that wants to pull either of those, or do we have any comments on consent?
Move approval.
I'll
Okay.
second. Oop, Go ahead.
We have 4
Ladies
seconds, and we know we have a first, and I think Mike was out the
make it
gate.
difference.
And then I had it was a blur.
Mike, go ahead.
I believe I
Go
heard,
eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
I believe I heard Director Isby first.
Okay. Roll call whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Director Gardner,
Aye.
Director Torres,
Yes.
Director Dinstead,
Aye.
Director Isby.
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Okay, we'll move on to item 7, items to be added to the agenda.
We
Mr.
do
Miller.
have an item to add to the agenda today.
Okay.
So we became aware of a problem after the posting of the agenda. Let me turn it over to Jeff so we can make sure we follow the rules to add something to the agenda.
So the rules under the Brown Act to add an agenda item as a late-breaking item are, we need a 2/3 vote from the board, making the finding that there's a need to take immediate action, as well as, which essentially turns into forfeits for this board, that there's a need to take immediate action, and that the agenda came to the attention of the district after the agenda was posted, which in conferring with staff, I understand this item came to our attention yesterday, so that complies with the Brown Act.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll
Yes.
move to add the item. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. May we have roll call, please?
Director Gardner,
Aye.
Director Torres,
Yes.
Director Dinstead,
Aye.
Director Isby.
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
And I would recommend to the board that we put that on the agenda following both closed sessions today.
Okay. Okay. Do we need to reflect that in the motion or anything? Okay. All right, then we will move on to item 8, the action agenda. Item A, approve Western Municipal Water District's updated investment policies for fiscal year 2026 to 2027.
Veronica's really happy today because she is kind of the star of the show and doing quite a few of the items. We're heavy on finance today. So
Thank you.
the first item went to the Finance Committee, and this is an update of our investment policies. Veronica?
Thank you, Craig. Happy here at Western every day. So before you today is a staff letter respectfully requesting the board's consideration of adopting Resolution 3385, updating our investment policies for fiscal year 26-27. Each year, staff, along with Western's investment advisor, Chandler Asset Management, review the investment policies to ensure they align with updates to the California Government Code and the industry best practices. For fiscal year 26-27, we recommend updates to the investment policies for both Western Municipal Water District's portfolio and the Section 115 Trust. The details of these recommended changes are outlined in the staff letter and accompanying red line attachments. Please note that these updates are immaterial. In summary, for Western Water's portfolio, the proposed revision is to align the policy with Senate Bill 595, which extends the maximum permitted investment in commercial paper at 40% through January 1st, 2031, and increases the maximum permitted maturity from 270 days to 397 days. Additionally, the zero on negative accrue provision is extended also through January 1st, 2031. For the Section 115 Trust Investment Policy, the proposed updates provide greater flexibility in domestic equity allocation to improve diversification, and revise benchmark language to better align with the portfolio investment strategy we use for VBUT Trust. Benchmark performance data will continue to be included in the quarterly reports. These revisions are consistent with the California Government Code. Staff, along with Chandler Asset Management, Dan Delaney on the Zoom, will be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? Okay,
Move approval.
we have a motion and a second to move approval. May we have roll call, please?
Director
Oh,
Gardner?
wait a minute, sorry. Were there any public comments?
Yeah, that's fine, that's what I was waiting for too.
No
I
public
even
comment.
wrote it on my paper.
No public comment.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to confirm that. Now may we have roll call, please?
Thank you. Director Gardner?
Aye.
Director Torres?
Yes.
Director Dinstead?
Aye.
Director Risby?
Aye.
President Roten?
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. We'll move on to item B, approve Western Riverside County Regional Wastewater Authority fiscal year 2026-2027 budget. I think that's you.
Veronica is going to stand there. We did present this for the RCRA budget, and it went through the RCRA board, and Veronica will present here.
Thank you. So with the support of the Finance Committee, staff respectfully request the board's consideration to adopt Resolution 3384, ratifying RCRA's fiscal year 26-27 budget. On April 16, 2026, the RCRA board approved the budget for fiscal year 26-27, which now requires ratification from each of the 5 member agencies, including Western. As detailed in the staff letter, the fiscal year 26-27 operating budget reflects an increase of $780,000 or 5.9% compared to fiscal year 25-26. The debt service budget remains unchanged, while the capital budget rises $3.4 million or 32.8%, primarily due to carryover of unspent capital funds from fiscal year 25-26. Consequently, Western's portion of the RCRA operating budget will increase by $43,000 or 2.7%. The share of the debt service budget remains the same, while Western's capital budget share will increase by $492,000 or 32.1%, again due to the carryover of unspent capital funds from fiscal year 25-26. RCRA provides sewer services for La Sierra service area, and the adopted sewer rates in these areas are adequate to cover the budget increases. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Okay, first of all, do we have any public comments?
We do not.
Okay, any questions from the board?
Move approval.
Okay. No, that's okay. I can ask after. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it, and it was approved by Rick board, which I said.
Okay.
Sure.
Before we vote, I just have a quick clarifying, I guess, question. So the $491,757 increase, I understand that that's from the carryover from the previous year. So I just wanted to make that clear, so that, am I understanding correctly, that is not newly budgeted money, it's moved from one year to the next?
Correct. The
Okay.
capital budget is on on-call basis. So unless we really project the quarterly cash flow needs the money, we won't call for the funding from the member agency. Because of last year, we didn't have as much cash outflow needs, so it moved forward to this year. Oh,
Okay.
upcoming year, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
get that on the record, that, so in case anyone was not up here, but
Yeah.
out there was thinking that these were additional monies. So I appreciate that clarification. And with that, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Thank you. Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Risby.
Yes.
Director Dinstedt.
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Okay. We will move on to item C, adopt a resolution to set water rates and charges for wholesale agencies.
We had a nice discussion at Finance on this item, and it's coming to the board today. So Spencer, can you inform the board what we're moving, or hoping to move today?
Thank you very much, Craig. Good morning, members of the board. This item relates to setting various water rates and charges for our wholesale customers. Next slide, please. Each year, Western Water conducts a routine update to its wholesale water rates. These updates are necessary to ensure that we recover the costs associated with delivering water to our wholesale customers. There are two primary drivers behind these changes. First, we pass through any rate adjustments implemented by Metropolitan Water District. And second, we account for Western Water's own costs, such as administrative expenses and maintenance activities that are essential to support wholesale water activities and to operate and maintain the infrastructure needed to transmit wholesale water efficiently and reliably. These annual adjustments are part of our ongoing efforts to maintain fiscal responsibility while ensuring high-quality service to our customers. Next slide, please. For fiscal year 2027, in line with the cost of service study, Western Water is proposing a 6.6% increase to the wholesale administrative per acre-foot charge. The administrative charge is applied to each acre-foot of water delivered to wholesale agencies. This charge helps offset a portion of Western Water's general expenses that are directly related to supporting wholesale water agency activities, which are effectively the activities that relate to metropolitan representation. Western Water is proposing a 3% increase for the Mills Gravity Line maintenance charge. The Mills Gravity Line maintenance charge applies to wholesale water deliveries through the gravity line and helps recover the day-to-day costs of maintaining this critical transmission pipeline. Maintenance activities include things like water quality testing, turnout maintenance, meter calibrations, minor repairs, and easement maintenance. These proposed increases reflect the cost of ongoing operations and the need to sustain infrastructure reliability. Next slide, please. Thank you. For calendar year 2027, Western Water is proposing changes to our wholesale treated and untreated water rates. These adjustments reflect cost changes set by Metropolitan, which we incorporate directly into our wholesale rate structure. These rates are then effectively passed through to our wholesale customers. Metropolitan's untreated rate will increase by 4.7%, bringing the new rate to $1,030 per acre-foot. The treated water rate will decrease by 7.1%, bringing the new rate to $1,420 per acre-foot. Now, rates normally increase, not decrease, so this begs the question, why the decrease? Next slide, please. The treated water charge decrease is a result of Metropolitan implementing a new business model to offset approximately 30% of the treated volumetric charges through a fixed revenue. The purpose is to create more stability in their revenues, not relying solely on variable water sales. The result is 3 new treated fixed charges: the treatment peaking capacity charge, the treatment used capacity charge, and the treatment remaining capacity charge. Next slide. The intent of the 3 fixed charges is to recover costs focused on the various components that affect Metropolitan's ability to provide treated water deliveries. Those 3 components focus on system peaking costs, capacity in high demand years, and idle capacity available. Next slide, please. In the long term, Metropolitan will base these charges on historical consumption patterns for member agencies using rolling 3, 5, and 10-year look-back periods. There will be a transition period as Metropolitan gradually phases in the full historical data approach. For calendar year 2027 rates, Metropolitan is relying solely on fiscal year 2025 treated water data. Specifically, they are using average daily flow and total annual treated water deliveries to calculate the 3 charges for this first year. Beginning next year, you'll start to see slight adjustments to each of these charges as additional years of historical data are incorporated into the methodology. This slide illustrates how each charge is derived in this first year, as well as showing the long-term methodology that will be used. Next slide, please. This slide, along with attachment 1, illustrates how the new MWD treatment peaking capacity charges are allocated amongst the wholesale customers and our own retail customers for calendar year 2027. Next slide. This slide, along with attachment 2, illustrates how the new treatment use standby capacity charges are allocated for calendar year 2027. Next slide. And finally, of the 3 new charges, this slide, along with attachment 3, illustrates how the new MWD remaining treatment capacity charges are allocated for calendar year 2027. Next slide, please. Thank you. Moving on to the remaining pre-established charges, Metropolitan's capacity charge is designed to recover capital costs associated with peak demands on their distribution system. Western Water is assessed this charge based on our agency's overall peak usage. We then allocate that cost proportionally across our wholesale and retail customers based on their contribution to that peak demand. This slide, along with attachment 4, shows how the capacity charge is distributed among our wholesale and retail customers for calendar year 2027. Next slide, please. The Metropolitan Readiness to Serve charge helps fund the capital costs of emergency and standby storage facilities managed by Metropolitan Water District. This includes key assets like Lake Skinner and Diamond Valley Lake. These facilities play a critical role in ensuring a reliable water supply during droughts, emergencies, or major infrastructure outages. This slide and attachment 5 provide a detailed breakdown on how this charge is allocated across each wholesale agency, as well as the portion assigned to our own retail water customers. Next slide. And finally, we have the Mills Gravity Line Major Maintenance and Repair Reserve Charge for fiscal year 2027. This reserve is set aside to fund ongoing inspections, major maintenance, and repair work needed to keep the gravity line in reliable working condition. The goal is to stay ahead of wear and tear and reduce the risk of costly, unexpected emergency repairs. The total funding for the year is based on a 10-year plan totaling $10.1 million, which is evenly distributed over that period. That means $1 million per year, which is a 5.3% increase from last year. This slide and attachment 6 provide a breakdown of how this amount is allocated between Western Water's representative wholesale and retail customers. Next slide. Staff recommends the board adopt Resolution 3380, adopting rates and charges for our wholesale customers. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Okay, before we go to questions, do we have any public comments?
We do not.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
2 questions.
Okay.
Have we shared all of this information with our sub-agencies, the wholesale agencies?
Correct. And very broad outreach was done, as well as I know that there have been other forums that discussions have been had with the agency's executives.
That's, we would hope you would ask us that question.
Yes.
There's an enormous amount of work that goes on with the member agencies. We have a dedicated bi-monthly meeting with all the general managers from all those agencies, and as you would expect, this is a hot topic on that agenda always. Rick is very proactive in his relationships with the CFOs of all the member agencies, and so behind the scenes, they're talking about this. Ryan, same thing with all the water resources managers. What I'll add to your question is Spencer was talking about the decrease in the treatment surcharge. And as Director Denstedt well knows, that this is the payoff for an enormous political effort last summer and fall to change the concept of the treated water surcharge.
Yes.
There's a lot of agencies that what we call roll on and roll off of the system. They have other supplies. They stop taking Met water when the hydrology is good and they don't need Met water. They use the other supplies. Under the old concept, when they roll off of the system and take their other water, they're not paying the fees to maintain all the facilities in the treatment plants. Well, we had to make up the difference. Even though our demands were very steady,
Yeah.
the treatment surcharge that we were paying made up for that rolling off financially and rolling on, and we changed that. And so now it's a fixed charge, which lowered our costs quite a bit and shifted those costs to a more fair program.
Yes.
So hugely beneficial to our agencies, who are very consistent in our purchases from Metropolitan, as is Eastern and IUA and Orange County. So
Yes.
big change at Met, and now we see it.
Yes, it was an enormous lift for us to be able to accomplish that because it had tried a couple times previous and
Well,
died for lack of support.
Just for
so-
15 or 20 years.
Yes, just, a couple times before.
15 or 20 years.
My next question is going to be the obvious. Did we receive any input or feedback from those of our sub-agencies, wholesales, that we would like to share, or anything regarding this item?
Disappointed of a price drop?
No Christmas card, I don't know.
Okay,
No, I mean, I don't know, Rick's dealing with their CFOs on a regular basis.
No input. There was the standard questions on how did we come up with some of the calculations, especially on the admin charge, because there was a different methodology there, and they were appreciative. We got all that information to them, and so there were no follow-up questions.
No, thank you, and I'd appreciate it. That's my question. I just want to make sure that before we go and make these changes, that everyone is very aware that we do an enormous outreach to all of those individuals and all of those agencies, and they can opine at any time and give us their input. And we have several avenues of dialogue and gatherings that we communicate all of these things forward. So those are my only questions, and I'm happy to move this item.
I will, go ahead.
Okay, were there any other questions?
Not a question, but I think an
Comments?
important comment, if I may.
please.
I am flanked by the two people who had the most to do with that change. Brenda led things at the board level. Craig organized all the other general managers from our region. And finally, they were able to overcome primarily Los Angeles, because they've got Owens Valley and they go on and off depending on what's available. They're the biggest player in that.
That is correct.
And it really was a major deal, and these two did it. So thank you.
Awesome. Anyone else have a comment? Did I ask for public comments?
Yes, you did.
You did, but
Oh, see?
we still
I
have
did.
none.
I did it early, and then I forget that I
good.
did it. I actually have just a couple more clarifications. So the slide that has the new fix, in fact, just what we're talking about, the new fixed charge transition period. So I appreciated how you explained that, Spencer, because when I first was reading this chart, actually what jumped out at me was the sentence in blue where it says,
Go to 7.
applying, is that what it is? Oh, page
the one?
131, I don't know what, yes, perfect. The transitional first year, totally understand that. But then it was, in my mind, fully applying them to future look-back periods. So I had to read that a couple times because I'm like, wait, aren't those opposite, future look-back? But when you explained it today, I got it. So I appreciate that. So it tells how they're doing it the first year, and then going forward after that, how they look back to determine the average of whatever the period of time is. So thank you for clarifying that.
You're welcome.
The next page, and I should know this, but I racked my brain. I don't know what CFS are.
Cubic foot per second, which is
Okay.
essentially the influx of flow. So you have acre foot measures the total water, but how much is going through the pipe at that moment.
Oh.
So it's like
okay.
the-
So like the speed.
Correct. Yeah, it's the
Okay.
capacity available in that pipeline.
Water's miles
It's-
per hour.
Right, it's water miles per hour
Oh, I
as
like
opposed
that.
to miles of your journey.
Okay.
We'll be changing that next year, water miles per hour.
Yeah.
I like it, I like it. Okay, and then just I think it's just a general, yes, it's just a general comment. Just for the public to know, Norco throughout the slides has a 0 cost to them. Can you just touch on why that would be?
So through one of the connections, it's Reach F, or connection 24D, which goes through the Mills gravity line. We feed a connection that is split between multiple agencies, including Corona. And Corona then sells water effectively for that same amount. I don't know exactly the route that it takes to get to them, but it's essentially metropolitan water. So Corona gives us the data for which whether or not Norco has taken any water, and they have not for the last number of years, as long as I've been here. But I think if we went back even 4 or 5 years ago, they were taking water, and therefore
Okay.
they did need to pay a piece of the pie, if you will, for the charges herein.
Okay, so if they, in fact, they do take it, it's through Corona.
Correct. But we bill them directly. There's a communication
Oh.
that occurs between us and Corona.
through Corona.
Correct.
Okay,
But it's been so long since they've taken water, they're not paying any of these charges, and they don't routinely take water.
Correct. Yeah, I think that those charges are 3 and 5 year look back, so maybe 6 or 7 years ago they were taking one.
okay,
But it was a very small component.
okay. Oh, thank you for explaining that. I appreciate
pleasure.
it. I think that was it. So we have a motion and a second. May we have the roll call, please?
Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Dinstedt. Director Risby.
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to, oh,
Did you say something?
I said thank you, Spencer.
oh, okay.
That was a,
Yes, thank you,
long-
Spencer.
that was a long.
Item D, approve fiscal year 2026-27 annual purchase orders and contracts over 200,000.
Veronica?
Welcome back.
My last item, I promise. So the item is a request from the Finance Committee and staff to seek board approval of the proposed annual purchase orders and contracts for capital items, services, and public works exceeding $200,000 for fiscal year 26-27. Beginning of each fiscal year, annual purchase orders and contracts are established to support routine and recurring operational needs. On February 4th, 2026, the board adopted Resolution 3369, which requires board approval for purchase orders and contracts exceeding $200,000 for capital items, services, and public works. As a result, the annual listing being presented this year is much shorter than in prior years due to the increased approval threshold from $100,000 to $200,000 for general manager. Attachment 1 is the list of annual purchase orders and contracts over $200,000 requiring board approval. And attachment 2 is a disclosure listing of other planned purchase orders and contracts exceeding $200,000. I would like to note one change reflected in attachment 2 related to sodium hypochlorite purchases. In fiscal year 25-26, staff transitioned from Brentech to Waterline Technologies. However, due to delivery and scheduling issues, staff is recommending a transition back to Brentech for more reliable deliveries for fiscal year 26-27. Beginning fiscal year 26-27, all purchase orders and contracts exceeding $200,000 will be reported to the board on a quarterly basis. That concludes my presentation for the day. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions? Do we have any public comments?
We do not.
I'll move to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Director Gardner, second. And we're ready for roll call. Vote, please.
Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Dinstedt.
Aye.
Director Rizvi.
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes.
Thank you, President Roten. The motion carries 5-0.
Okay.
Thank you.
And thank you for all your reports. Item E, adopt resolutions approving the 2025 Urban Water Management Plan and the 2025 Water Shortage Contingency Plan.
All right, President Roten, this
And
is,
it
we
looks
have to
like
hold
this
this
is
as a hearing,
Public hearing.
as is required by statute.
Yes.
And you need to open the hearing if you can
Okay.
find your materials over there.
I think I found it. Okay, awesome, thank you. This is the time and place set for the public hearing to receive comments on the draft 2025 Urban Water Management Plan of Western Municipal Water District of Riverside County and the draft Water Shortage Contingency Plan, a required element of the 2025 Urban Water Management Plan, to demonstrate consistency with the Delta Plan policy to reduce reliance on the Delta through improved regional water self-reliance. This public hearing is provided by law so that interested and affected agencies and individuals may provide Western Water with comments prior to the adoption of the final plans. Mr. General Manager.
Thank you. Staff certifies that the draft 2025 plan and the draft water storage contingency plan have been developed in accordance with the requirements of the California Urban Water Management Plan Act and the Water Conservation Act of 2009, otherwise known as SBX 7-7, and the Delta Plan. The draft documents were made available to the public for review on June 3rd, 2026 and June 10th, 2026 in the Press Enterprise, a newspaper of general circulation, both English and Spanish. Staff has provided proof of publication. At this time, Mallory O'Connor will provide a brief presentation on the contents of the 2025 Urban Water Management Plan and the Water Storage Contingency Plan. Mallory?
Thank you so much.
Our intro is longer than your presentation.
Yes.
But not longer than the report.
It is a healthy report, and it actually is a good presentation that we heard at EOWR.
Correct. Thanks, Craig. Good morning, President Roten, members of the board and staff. Today, we are presenting the key findings and takeaways from our 2025 Urban Water Management Plan and Water Shortage Contingency Plan, and are requesting the board's adoption of the Urban Plan and the Shortage Contingency Plan after the public hearing. And so these are standard reports, updates that are required by the Department of Water Resources, DWR. And the good news is that the analysis shows that Western Water is well prepared for the future. We have been working with our consultant, Water Systems Consulting, or WSC, over the last year to develop the Urban Plan and Shortage Contingency Plan. And we have Lane Carlson from WSC joining us virtually today as well. And so following the presentation today, we're required to hold a public hearing to allow for any public comment on the urban plan and the shortage contingency plan. And the adoption of resolutions 3382 and 3383 will require separate board actions. And so consistent with the requirements of the California Water Code, Western Water conducted public outreach and stakeholder engagement during the 2025 Urban Water Management Plan and Water Shortage Contingency Plan development. And on March 6, 2026, we sent a notice of preparation to all the cities, counties, regional agencies, and other interested stakeholders more than 60 days prior to the June public hearing. We also published 2 rounds, as Craig mentioned, of newspaper notices on June 3rd and on June 10th, respectively. And today, following the public hearing and any consideration of public comments received, we will be requesting the Board of Directors adopt Resolution 3382 and 3383, approving the 2025 Urban Plan and Water Shortage Contingency Plan. And upon adoption, the plans will be submitted to Department of Water Resources by July 1st, 2026, in accordance with the state requirements. And so as done in 2020, Western's wholesale and retail service areas are represented distinctly and clearly in the urban plan and the water shortage contingency plan, since each system is unique and important. The urban plan and shortage contingency plan are foundational, long-term planning documents. So for example, we use these plans to inform our water supply assessments that we develop for future projects that are within our retail service area. And so as you know, our wholesale and retail service divisions cover more than 500 square miles, and we serve 1 million people every day. And now we're going to be presenting the key findings and takeaways from our 2025 Urban Water Management Plan. Western Water is required to prepare and update the urban plan and shortage plan every 5 years under the Urban Water Management Planning Act. The urban plan requires at least a 20-year planning horizon. However, our urban plan includes a 25-year outlook, which goes through 2050. The plan separately evaluates both the wholesale and retail service areas with the analysis of population growth, water supply and demand forecasting, and drought risk. And the primary purpose of the urban plan is to evaluate water service reliability under a variety of near and long-term conditions. The urban plan also supports long-term planning efforts related to supply reliability, infrastructure investments, and operational resiliency. So ultimately, the goal is to ensure that Western Water can continue to meet customer demands over the next 25 years. And the population projections are foundational to estimating and planning for future demands in the urban plan. Population projections show moderate but consistent growth through 2050. On the wholesale side, you'll see a table for the wholesale side. In 2025, 984,000 people were estimated to be in our wholesale service area. And this is projected to increase to 1.13 million in 2050. On the retail side, on the right-hand side of your screen, we have an estimate of 95,000 people in 2025 in our retail service area, which is projected to increase to 125,000 in 2050. Western adjusted portions of its retail projections to reflect current development activity and recent connection trends. These updated retail projections were combined with SCAG, Southern California Association of Governments, forecasts for the remaining wholesale area. And we worked closely with WSC to make sure that these were well-informed population projections that are aligned with other retail or neighboring agencies in our area. And there's a lot of information in here on the screen, but we wanted to highlight 3 key takeaways. Our diversification strategy is both reliable and stable for our wholesale partners and retail customers, and it also reduces vulnerability during drought conditions. Western continues to rely on a balanced approach that includes imported water, groundwater, recycled water, and infrastructure investments and conservation. The charts for the wholesale and retail show the approximate breakout between our local and imported water sources. And this includes a key new exchange agreement with the San Diego County Water Authority and how it has benefited our portfolio. Western Retail was previously 100% reliant on imported water. And with a lot of hard work and regional partnerships, that was slowly reduced to 60% over time. But now with this historic agreement, our reliance on imported water supply is going to be lowered even further. Although it is projected to gradually increase as the population increases through 2050, but it's a great story for our district and our wholesale area. And as mentioned previously, there are required assessments in the urban plan. The Water Supply Reliability Assessment evaluates supply reliability over the next 25 years under several conditions, including a normal year, a single dry year, and a 5-year drought. The drought risk assessment analysis drought risks assuming the next 5 consecutive years are in a drought. And one of the most important findings of the urban plan is that there are no supply shortages anticipated under any scenario that are evaluated in the plan. Imported water supplies remain reliable due to metropolitan storage programs and flexible supply portfolio. Local groundwater supplies continue to be sustainably managed and supported through recharge efforts. And recycled water also provides a reliable, drought-resilient local supply source. Together, these resources position Western to withstand future drought conditions and water supply challenges. And we can't show you where Western is going without showing you where we as a district have been. It's a team effort, and we really want to give a big thanks to our customers for doing the hard work to reduce their water usage, and Western's water use efficiency team for developing the programs that helped us achieve our water use target. And as an agency, we can offer programs, but ultimately, our success is through customer participation in those programs. And so for more than a decade, Western has continually worked to reduce our residential gallons per capita per day, or our RGPCD. The RGPCD was reduced from 383 gallons per person per day in 2007 to 181 gallons per person per day in 2025, which is a reduction of more than 50% due to messaging, budget-based rates, and conservation. For reference, our 20% by 2020 compliance target was 352 gallons per capita per day. So you can see that all of those efforts have paid off. And so in summary, the urban plan demonstrates that Western has sufficient near-term and long-term water supplies available, and we're prepared to meet demands during normal conditions, as well as extended drought periods with no anticipated supply shortages. Collaborative regional planning remains critical to maintaining future water reliability, and the plan reinforces Western's continued commitment to resiliency, sustainability, and proactive water management. And so now we'll transition to the key findings and takeaways from our 2025 Water Shortage Contingency Plan, which establishes the planned actions that Western may implement during water shortage conditions should they occur. Although the Shortage Contingency Plan is a component of the urban plan, it's required to be adopted as a standalone document. And again, important to remember that the urban plan analysis shows that there are no supply shortages anticipated. But the Shortage Contingency Plan does establish Western's response framework for potential water shortage conditions, whether it's due to drought, climate change, infrastructure failures, water quality issues, or emergency events. So essentially, the Shortage Contingency Plan is the operating manual that Western will use to prevent catastrophic service disruptions through proactive mitigation of water shortages. The shortage plan defines shortage stages and corresponding measures to minimize impacts on customers and system operations. And so the plan includes 6 standardized shortage levels that are required by state law. Each stage includes specific response actions such as conservation measures, operational adjustments, supply augmentation, and mandatory restrictions if needed. The goal is to reduce demand early and maintain system reliability before conditions worsen. And each shortage stage includes a demand reduction target, operational response actions, public outreach measures, and conservation requirements. And so this slide summarizes the remaining items that are needed for the adoption of both plans. Outreach included our June 1st Engineering Operations and Water Resources Committee meeting, public draft publication, and 2 rounds of the published newspaper notices in the Press Enterprise and La Prensa on June 3rd and June 10th, respectively. And so pending the board's adoption, the final urban plan and shortage contingency plan will be posted on Western's website, and the adopted plans will be submitted to DWR by the July 1st deadline. And so we have two recommendations before you today. After the required public hearing, staff recommends that the board adopt Resolution 3382, approving the 2025 Urban Water Management Plan. And after the required hearing again, staff recommends that the board adopt 3383, approving the 2025 Water Shortage Contingency Plan. And lastly, you may notice there are some items that are not currently in the appendices of the draft document, and that was intentional. We're waiting for board adoption on the final signed copies, and those will be included in the submittal to DWR. And so with that, I want to thank the Western teams and everybody that helped make this report come together. It's a hefty report, as you see in front of you. Jake Loki and the Water Resources team on their day-to-day coordination, CCX, Stratcom, Development Services, and Operations. Really, thanks for your time. Thank you for your time and consideration, and happy to answer any questions. And as a reminder, we have Lane Carlson from WSC joining us as well.
Okay. Thank you so much for that report. And I'm always, I'll just say, blown away by how you are able to condense down such a huge. I have my copy in the box.
I saw.
Behind me.
Yes.
I thought, they took the time to do this. They took the time to print it. I am bringing it back with me just in case. But it's very thick, and I can only imagine the time and effort and attention to detail that went into that. So thank you very much. Are there any questions before we open the public hearing? No, it doesn't sound like it. I think I might have had one. Oh,
Director Roten, if we could please
do
wait
the hearing
for
first.
the board's comments until after
Oh,
the end of the.
okay, sure, absolutely. All right, so now we will move into my part again. Board Secretary, has Western Water received any written comments regarding either the draft 2025 Urban Water Management Plan or the draft Water Shortage Contingency Plan?
We have not.
Okay. We will now open the public hearing to receive comments from any member of the public present. As you come forward to speak, please identify yourself. You will have the custom 3 minutes to speak. Did we have any that wanted to speak?
President Roten, we do not have any requests to speak online or in the room.
Okay. Seeing no one who wishes to speak, I declare the public hearing is now closed. And Mr. General Manager.
Thank you very much. In consideration of no comments being received, staff recommends the board adopt, number one, Western Municipal Water District's draft water storage contingency plan, and number two, Western Municipal Water District's draft 2025 Urban Water Management Plan update, and three, direct staff to electronically submit the final plans to the State Department of Water Resources and other agencies no later than July 1st, 2026, as required by law.
Okay, thank you. Now I can ask my question. Okay. It just something I caught toward the beginning of your presentation when you were summarizing occurs every 5 years, 25-year planning horizon. I think you said the requirement was 20 years. But we elected to do 25? Do I understand that correctly?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
so I automatically think of how Western just raises the bar on everything. And I was wondering if there was a reason that we did 25 instead of 20.
Yeah, and a lot of the population projections go out to 2050 at this point, so we have the data, we had it available, and we wanted to be able to evaluate our supplies and demand based on the available data.
Okay, great, thank you. That was my only question. Do we, Mr. Ballinger, do we have to do separate motions for each resolution?
I don't believe so, no.
No? Okay. And please go ahead.
Thank you. Can we go to, I think it's slide 8? Or, let me see if it comes up. There it is, that's the one. So just a comment and kind of an interesting little chuckle and observation on my part. This slide right here to show where we started at the 383 on the gallons per person.
Per day.
Per day.
Indoor and outdoor, both.
Okay, so just an interesting little note that, thank you for the wake-up call. This chart reflects my entire time on the board.
Wow, lot of work.
And that's kind of a wake-up. You know, to see when I started on this board that we were at that level and now we're down at this level. So thank you for that, and thank you for all the things that we have done over the years to reflect everything that is shown on this slide. This is a huge, huge change. And I'll be talking to our CFO over what the percentage is from that point to this point of change. I'll get those numbers from him after the meeting, but really, this is some tremendous work by staff to accomplish this. It was a huge lift, and
Well, Director Roden could do the presentation on this slide because she heard it last week in DC 12 times. But we're really proud of this.
yeah.
And
you
so
should
when
be.
we did our
And we
trip
should
last
be.
week, this was in our presentation at every meeting because, you know, it's important that we're handling efficiency and doing everything we can for efficiency. And then on that platform, we can then say that we need to develop additional supply.
Yeah,
So, you know, we don't feel it's appropriate to say, hey, just go build more if we waste water locally. And so it's really important to show, and, you know, we have over a 50% reduction. And Mallory was highlighting in one of the slides about the required stages of cutbacks, you know, for drought.
Right.
And that's the top line
yeah,
on here. So we were trying to determine, like, what caused this great reduction? And so all these different things are things that have happened along that path, and staff was just trying to figure out, like, well, was it a governor declared required cutback? Or was it budget-based rates? Or was it our outreach that our communications team has done? Or was it COVID? And, you know, you can look on there, if you look at COVID, it was not COVID. Actually, there was
Yeah,
more water
it was-
used during COVID.
yeah.
So, you know, it's very complicated how you got there. Was it the hydrology, a wet year, dry year? But, you know, those are just little things around the edges. You know, it's all of it put together
Yes.
that is an enormous improvement in customer efficiency. And, you know, we would like to take credit for it because we're really smart. But if the customers weren't choosing to use less water, it wouldn't have
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
So this is the customers actively saying they're going to change their behavior.
Absolutely. So thank you for all the work that you put into this. I know it's an enormous lift.
Were there, oh, sorry, just to piggyback on, it's already busy, but it is an amazing story, very, very well drafted. But even putting the population rise, I don't know where you'd have put that, but it would tell, it would show you, like, we're doing everything we can, the population is rising. And not only are we still dropping, but that's why our demands haven't changed. Because people are going to be like, look, we cut it in half. And yes, you did, but the population's still rising. So our water demands haven't changed, and they would be worse if we would have kept those patterns going, right? So, but yeah, this is, the only thing I wanted to ask is, I don't see the executive report and that, the executive summary, excuse me. But I hope that's gonna be somewhere publicly displayed, because that was probably, it is the best executive summary I've ever seen, our communications team is just elite, and being able to, like Director Roughton said, disseminate such complicated information and so much work that was put behind these two plans, but to create a summary that is public ready is great. So hopefully that's going to be out there, but
It will be on the website.
yeah,
Yes,
great,
absolutely.
very good. And I'll move both resolutions.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and I just wanted to reiterate too, on this chart, this was a hugely useful tool back in DC, and frankly, I think it could be used as a template for other agencies to show their successes. And I do like the idea of somehow getting the population, maybe it's a skinny line across on there.
We can see
or-
if we can get something on there to make
Or start
it.
to fit, maybe not even all the way across, maybe like at the beginning it was this and now it's this or something like that.
Okay.
Because you're correct, that adds to the impact that, so this was incredible. Okay, we have a motion and a second. I think we're ready to vote.
Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Dinstedt.
Aye.
Director Rizvi. President Roten.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Okay. Hang on just 1 second while I jot something down. Okay. All right, that took care of item E. Thank you, Mallory. Oh, she's already gone. We'll move on to item F, approve a project budget for professional engineering services for a water supply alternative study in the Rainbow Service Area.
Derek was feeling left out.
I know, this is great. We've heard from so many people today.
He always gets airtime.
All right.
There's always
No.
some engineering thing we're doing, so. This went through EOWR also, and we had a very healthy discussion at that point. Derek, you want to go ahead and present it to the board?
Sure. Good morning, directors.
Morning.
The Rainbow Service Area has a unique history. It was Western Water's first customer area, annexed in 1957 when Metropolitan Water District was building the San Diego Aqueduct and needed a right-of-way through the Rainbow Canyon. So as I explained in the committee, one of the requirements in order to get that right-of-way was that they get water service, the folks that were selling the property, to get those aqueducts in. So this item is about reliability in a small, isolated portion of our system. There's about 43 customers, and it has very little redundancy today. It only has a feed directly off of the aqueduct. The Rainbow Service Area depends on that Metropolitan as a single supply source, and they have limited storage and pumping. While it generally meets the current domestic demand, we need to better define how we will reliably serve the area and meet fire flow requirements and improve the resilience during outages or shutdowns. If there's a shutdown of the aqueduct, there's really no access to water other than a very small tank that has to be topped off manually it was done by Rancho staff that we did under contract. So staff is asking the board to approve a $366,000 budget for a water supply alternative study and related amendment to the FY 2025 and 2026 capital improvement facilities plan under system improvement reserves 04, and that's under the Rainbow Water Fund 24. This is not a request to construct a project, and it's not a request to approve an operating agreement with another agency. We discussed that at the committee. What this does is it funds an engineering analysis needed to bring back a clear recommendation on how to provide water supply to this area. The study is intended to answer two main questions. First, whether the proposed fire pump together with the existing storage can reliably support Western's standard of, for this area of 1,500 gallons per minute. And second, whether a supplemental intertie with Rainbow Municipal Water District would provide a meaningful operational benefit during metropolitan shutdowns or for other supply interruptions. And perhaps to investigate if there's other ways that we could form collaboration with Rainbow Municipal Water District that is directly adjacent to this area. So staff has already met with Rainbow Municipal Water District and identified potential workable interconnection concepts, but there are real physical constraints, including about 600 feet of horizontal separation between the two systems, and some improvements that would have to be made to both systems in order to send water between the systems. There's about 100-foot elevation difference between the two systems, so we'd have to tackle that as part of the analysis. The total budget of $366,000 includes prior engineering work, additional professional engineering services, staff time, and contingency. So in summary, this is a measured next step for an isolated service area with one primary source of supply. The study will help us confirm compliance, reduce uncertainty, and we will return to the board with more informed recommendations for long-term reliability and emergency resilience for the Rainbow service area. I now open this up to any questions.
Okay, do we have any questions? Yes, Director Denstedt?
Is this part of the area we're looking at for LAFCO stuff?
Yes.
Is this going to help us with that, or is it just a step we need to do?
Well, both. It's an important step regardless of who serves or whose, whose map this is located in. This needs to be done for those customers, whether it's within our service area or Eastern service area. So it does have to be done regardless.
Okay. All right. That's my only question. Thank you.
Any other questions? No?
I'll move the item.
Do we have any public comment?
We do not.
Okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Whenever you're ready.
Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Dinstedt.
Aye.
Director Risby.
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Okay, thank you, directors.
Okay. I was looking at my notes, was Safa Kamangar, the engineer, is that the engineer, or no, operations manager, were they on the line?
He was.
I just wanted to recognize that.
He might have left right when
Okay.
we voted yes.
Okay, all right.
So-
I'm sorry, I should have asked that before. No worries, no worries,
Great,
thank you. Okay, we'll move on to reports. General Counsel, Mr. Ballinger. Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I have nothing to report this morning.
Okay, and Mr. Miller.
All right. Well, you've heard us reference the DC trip, so let me start with that. Director Roten may have some additional comments she would like to make about it, but Director Roten, Sarah and Michael and I joined our federal advocates, Mark Limbaugh and Chris Kearney, out in DC last week. It was a really good trip, packed. We held meetings with the Senate Appropriations Committee, the Subcommittee on the Interior, Environment, and Related Agencies. We met with the Office of Congressman Darrell Issa. We met with Congressman Calvert, with Congressman Takano, Office of Senator Padilla, Office of Senator Schiff. Went to the Department of the Interior, met with the Bureau of Reclamation and the new head of the Bureau of Reclamation, we think, who was appointed the day before. She has to go through confirmation, Aubrey Betancourt. So that was nice that she popped into our meeting. We met with EPA, Office of Water, where we talk about PFAS with them. And then a new meeting that we haven't done before, but it was a really good meeting, with the Office of Local Defense Community Cooperation. So that was the money we got for the force main that we did the groundbreaking for. Really good meeting, OLDCC, or as Director Roten called him, the old CC. Topics that we covered, obviously, federal funding for infrastructure investment. We advocated for the continuance of the community funding project funding program, that's kind of the earmark program. We've been very, very successful. So as we talked to everyone, we told them about the value. And a lot of thanks to the different offices that submitted requests on our behalf. So that continues to be a real priority for us. We actually spent a lot of time talking about California's Water Resilient Future, that's SB 72. And we talked with everyone back there about where we have to build more water supply, and there's an opportunity for the federal government through the Bureau of Reclamation to be involved in that and potentially shift demands off of the Colorado River if they would invest in some of California's storage infrastructure. So we talked about that. Very interesting. A lot of eyebrows raised, especially at the Bureau of Rec when we were talking about that. We can't go back there without talking about PFAS. It was the focus of the discussion with EPA, but it's also a focus in each of the Assembly member and Senate offices because it's high on their radar screen too. They understand the cost and the impacts to customers, and they're working hard on solutions, and we're always advocating for a liability waiver so that we don't get tied to the contamination issue because it travels through our wastewater treatment plants, and it's not, we don't do anything to add. PFAS, we're what we call a passive receiver. And then we talked about March Air Reserve Base and our partnerships and the $13 million we got from the OLDCC grant and how that made that project possible. So that was the DC trip. Statewide, Aquavision Working Group. So we're very active at Aqua. So they've formed 3 working groups to draft recommendations on water issues and solutions that will be presented to the new governor when the new governor comes in. So as kind of our 10-year aspiration and vision, and the board heard all about this in our mission vision, excellence in industry leadership. So we're just not saying that, we're doing something about it. So we've put 3 people on those 3 working groups. So
nice.
Rick is covering the protecting affordability for water customers is statewide. Josh Aguilar is going to be on the group that's delivering capital infrastructure. And Sarah and Michael are going to be on the group talking about modernizing water management in the state. So very strong participation in those groups. Hopefully that's impactful for California Water. We had a really good meeting this week with 2 new people from MARB. So Amy Howard is been assigned as the Installation Sustainment and Community Partnership Director, which is great. You know, we have this challenge of the colonels come through and they get promoted and they move on every couple of years, and continuity is really a problem on our challenges with long-term projects that we have to build over there. So Amy Howard is going to stay put. And so we had a great meeting with her. She brought with her Roy Viega, who's the interim base civil engineer. He's new. Derek and his team will be working with him. Chris back there. Fike has all sorts of, you know, every time we have a leak over there, how do we get on base? How do we fix it? Where is it? What's it tied to? You know, we have a lot of issues with the base just to operate our systems over there and address PFAS and rising groundwater and other things. So great meeting. We're super excited about Amy coming on board, and Roy was a really positive voice. We've sometimes had a lot of pushback, and this was all about solutions. So it was great.
Craig, is Ms. Howard a civilian employee or is she military?
Oh, boy. She is, I believe, a general in the reserves, but in this role, she's a civilian employee.
Okay.
So I'm not quite sure whether we call her General Howard or Amy.
Ma'am.
Yeah, it depends on, what time it is and who's in the meeting.
Yeah, it's just, a civilian employee is more likely to stay longer
Right.
than a military
Yeah.
person.
Yes.
So that's, if she's in a civilian role, that's a plus for us.
That is a plus for us. And, as she and the colonel both said, this will be a long-term assignment. We attended the MODOC Policy Forum, Director Denstad and Rick and myself, Monday night. That was good. Talked about sites, reservoir. You'll notice if you travel down our hallway down there, the Met Traveling Art Show is here. Go by and look at the artwork on display. It's a preview of the calendar. I want to congratulate Rick on his graduation from Leadership Riverside. I believe Directors Risby and Gardner were there for that celebration. It's a big turnout. It's always sold out. They begged us for seats back from what we reserved. Can we have some of those seats back? So we did contribute some of those seats back. And we do have a staff member that we're submitting for the next round of Leadership Riverside. So we hope she gets accepted.
Was there as well.
She's already working the system to get involved in the next round. She may regret it. Everyone who goes through, it's a pretty onerous assignment.
It is.
There's a lot of homework, there's a lot of activity. It's a big deal. And we've been very fortunate to have someone involved every single year.
Excellent choice, by the way.
Yeah. I don't want to say too much because she hasn't made it yet. The last reminder is, as it says here, a friendly reminder to the board members about our digital toolkits. So our communication staff is constantly updating the material in there. So there's a button on all of your iPads to get quick access. New talking points on what's going on at Western are always loaded in there at the top of the list, and it keeps rotating down. It's great material. Look at it every once in a while, and if you're heading to a city council meeting or some other community event where you're going to be asked to make comments, it's a really good source of comments that you can use. And always call me if you have further questions or want more detail. We're happy to provide that. But our communications staff is providing all that, whether you call me or not. And so hopefully you're able to use that. And I'm happy to answer any questions. That concludes my comments.
Any questions? No? Okay. Hang on one second. I'm writing myself a reminder again about the toolkit. Okay, we'll move into the low-income assistance program presentation. Is that?
There it is.
Okay. And it looks like Darian and Mike, it's the Darian and Michael show.
Yeah, so this is always a hot topic with the board, and we did make this presentation at ComGov, and so we wanted to make, it's good to do this publicly at a board meeting also, so it's a repeat performance. We'll see how they do, if they've shared different slides. I don't know.
Yes, well.
Darian, you're going to kick it off?
I will kick it off. I'm usually the announcer, so I'll kick it off for us. So good morning. As most of you know, I am Darian Cotton, Western's Customer Service Manager. So we'll be presenting the Low Income Assistance Program update alongside Michael Hatley, our Government Relations Officer. Next slide, please. So I'll walk you through a program overview, share participation and funding trends, and then Michael will provide an update on recent and pending legislation related to customer assistance programs. Next slide, please. So, Western Water's Low Income Assistance Program has been in place since 2013. The program was initially administered through the Community Action Partnership, but was moved in-house in 2016 to improve oversight and responsiveness, having the customer service staff manage the program because we were more intimately connected with the customer situations and their disconnections for non-payment. The program's purpose is very straightforward. It provides bill assistance to income-qualified customers with a past due balance on their water account. Customers must meet the program requirements, which include being currently enrolled in the Community Alternative Rates for Energy program, also known as CARE, and they must have a past due balance with Western. The Community Action, or the CARE program, typically requires customers, most of our customers, for a family size of 4, their income typically falls below $66,000 a year. That's the main qualifier for the CARE program. Once approved, the program provides assistance up to $150 annually to help those customers reduce their past due balance and keep the water flowing. Next slide, please. So the program is funded through non-rate revenue. More specifically, the program is funded through our cell tower lease income. The program does not impact water and sewer rates or regional operating funds, which allows Western to provide bill assistance to our customers that are in need without using a funding source that taps into ratepayer money. Next slide, please. So now, let's look at where we've been and where we're going. So looking at our recent funding history and customer use trends, over the past 4 fiscal years, participation has nearly doubled. In fiscal year '23, the program assisted about 173 customers, but by fiscal year '26, the assistance need has increased to 342 and counting. So as you can see, not only is the participation increasing, but the budget has also changed over time. The budget increased from $25,000 in fiscal year '23 to $40,000 in fiscal year '25, and it remains at $40,000 in fiscal year '26. Now, when looking at this chart, the most important thing to remember is that more eligible customers are using the program. Based on our customer analysis, the increase in participation is likely connected to several external factors, including certain federal assistance programs ending, broader economic impacts, and household cost pressures that dictate when customers reach out for assistance. Next slide, please. So, as participation increased, we also looked at where assistance is being provided. So what you'll see here is that assistance is being approved and provided throughout the district. This shows that the need is not limited to one specific area, and the program is being used district-wide as a customer assistance resource. Next slide, please. Now, for comparison, I've included the annual assistance amounts offered to customers by nearby agencies. It's important to remember that each program is structured differently, and agencies vary in size, revenue, funding source, and customer base. So this is purely a quick comparison only. Now, I've given you the update on our program overview and local comparisons. I'll hand it off to Michael, and he will provide the update on legal context for customer assistance programs.
Good morning, everybody. Next slide, please. So why am I up here with Darian talking about this program? This is not a usual combination of presenters that we have here at Western, but I'm excited to be a part of this because, as many of you are aware, over the years, we've had many pieces of legislation come through related to water affordability that have come and gone and been largely unsuccessful. And why is this? Why are we even talking about this in the statewide level? It's because back in 2012, the state passed the Human Right to Water, which says that every human in California deserves the right to clean, safe, affordable drinking water for the basic purposes. And that affordable piece is the one we've been debating over this whole time. So what are the things we're debating about on this? The main primary issue that we as water agencies have been putting forward in this discussion is the long-term funding source. How is it going to get paid for? If there is going to be a statewide low-income program, how is it going to get paid for, and how is it not going to violate Proposition 218? We've been trying to balance the need for a statewide program versus the ability for local agencies to have their own programs that are more beneficial to their local areas. Where the statewide program would be housed, so there's been debates around the state board, Department of Water Resources, a different agency. Mandatory reporting requirements is also an issue. We don't want a new program, statewide program, to also require water agencies to be overly burdensome when it comes to what we report back to the state on. And opt-in versus opt-out, this is a more recent discussion around a bill that would have made it so that everyone was automatically opted into the program and would have to opt out, and we argued it should be the other way around, so there's a big discussion around that. And then the final topic, well, there's a lot more topics, but in summarizing it, whether local programs could be grandfathered in or not. Like if there is a statewide program that's built, can an agency have its own program outside of that? Next slide, please. So rather than talking about, on previous iterations of this slide deck, I had a slide listing a bunch of different bills listed out over the years on what's been attempted. So rather than doing that, we're just going to focus on what's ahead of us right now and the two primary bills in the state legislature that deal with statewide low-income rate assistance program is SB 1125 and AB 2739. SB 1125 is a bill that is sponsored by the environmental justice community, but has actually been working very closely with the water community finally, to come up with a program that could work for us in the system. It's very similar to what we had in COVID-19, where the State Water Resources Control Board would get funding. They would administer that funding to reimburse water agencies for a low-income rate assistance program. We would receive information on who's enrolled in the CARE programs by Edison and SoCalGas and those different folks that already have their own enrollment program. We get that information, we enroll our customers into this program, and then we would get reimbursed by the state board for those costs. The minimum bill reimbursement would be $20 or 20% of their bill, whichever one is higher. And again, this bill is completely contingent on an appropriation by the legislature. And that's the main crux, is whether or not it gets paid for or not. So it does not become actionable until an appropriation is made, which leads into AB 2739, which is actually sponsored by our friends at Rancho California Water District and Irvine Ranch Water District. This would create a trust in the state system to provide not only a customer funding stream for a customer affordability program, but a system affordability program, which is really great because it would not only create a trust that would have an ongoing funding source for a statewide low-income rate assistance program, so to pay for SB 1125, but would also have a separate but equal funding platform for local agencies to access funding for potentially for projects. To be determined what that actually looks like when it's implemented, but it's great that our friends are taking on both the issue of customer affordability as well as system affordability in that bill. That bill also needs a funding, it needs to get an appropriation from the legislature, but when it does, that kicks essentially everything off moving forward and has a projected plan of how it would get administered over the next 20 to 50 years. On the federal side, we haven't seen much movement recently. The most recent movement was Senator Padilla back in 2023, 2024, had a bill that would have solidified what during COVID-19, the federal government created the LIWAP program, the Low Income Household Water Assistance Program. They have an identical program for the energy side, but the water side was only in effect during COVID-19. When that COVID-19 ended, that program funding also ended. So Senator Padilla tried to put it into law that this would be an ongoing program provided by the federal government. That has not since come to fruition. And even in our meeting last week with Senator Padilla's office, it doesn't sound like this is going to be a year that they try and move that bill. So that's what's been going on recent in legislation. Next slide, please. So what does this all mean for Western? There's an increased demand to solve affordability challenges, and as we try and explain to more and more audiences, there's a difference between system affordability versus customer affordability when it comes to bills, and there's an interest in solving both of those, but we do need to bifurcate those issues. Although they're connected, but they're not the same exact thing. There's legislative momentum suggests long-term change. So I mean, this is, again, for all of you who've been engaged on ComGov and in the legislative world, we've been talking about a low-income rate assistance program for forever. So, I mean, this isn't going to go away. Even if those bills I talked about in the last slide don't come to fruition this year, something is going to happen at some point. The environmental and social justice groups are really passionate about this issue, and they're upset that we don't have the ability to have programs similar to what Edison and SoCalGas have for customers. But for now, with the way things are set up, Western Water, we have our own program. As Darian had talked about, it's established, it's locally controlled, and it's responsibly adjusted over time as the need arises. So with that, next slide. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Go ahead.
I do have a couple questions. Can we go back to the slide that showed the assistance regions? Yeah, there you go. Thank you. So I guess two primary questions. What is the average size of the bill of customers who are utilizing this program?
In this current fiscal year, the customers that are receiving assistance, their past due balance is about $315. That's where most of them land, because with SB 998, customers are nearing about the 90-day mark when they become eligible for disconnection or when they are extremely past due and they reach out for assistance. So the average is about $315 is where most of our customers that are requesting assistance,
Okay.
that's where their balance is.
Are the customers that utilize this program, do we know if they're staying in their water budget rate?
It varies. We do have
Okay.
some fluctuation. Most of the customers are within their budget, so it's not typically an excessive use
Okay.
situation.
Okay. And if you know, when is the last time we increased this amount?
We have not increased the $150 threshold for a number of years. That $150 threshold does typically mirror what a standard bill going into its first past due bill is, but what we're seeing is that customers are just, they're not reaching out for assistance at the first sign of past due notice, and they're getting closer to that 90-day mark. But we have not increased that threshold in a number of years.
Okay. Well, that might be the level of conversation we need to have at some point to say, when is it appropriate to look at an adjustment? You know, because obviously we want people to stay within their budgets. We don't want excessive use, and we don't want to do any of those things. So, you know, I would just kind of be curious, you know, we project everything with CPI, with cost of livings, with those types of incremental adjustments for inflation. And so I wonder if at some point to have a look at that and see what that would look like for us potentially, to have that conversation. So I just kind of put that out there for a little stir the pot.
I would support that. I think that's a worthy conversation to have. We are significantly lower than two of our agencies. And the other question which would be in that discussion is, how much room is there in the source of the funds that cover this program? And basically, do we have money that we could increase it, and what might we lose if we move that money into this program?
All good
So,
things to look at.
Thanks.
Anyone else?
I have a
Go ahead, Craig.
comment to both of those comments.
Absolutely.
Tim's watching from Sacramento, and shot me a message.
And is he like going?
No, and he's not shaking his head no either. He's just sitting calmly. But we were anticipating, you know, the presentation and board comments, and, you know, we've been thinking about this program. Kind of the next step in educating the board on this is we've asked Kurt Schwabe from UCR to come and do a presentation in August to the board. He has done extensive work on affordability, and he presented to Metropolitan. They did a study sponsored by Metropolitan and Eastern on affordability. It's really interesting data because he looks at national standards of affordability, like percent of income. And it's really interesting data, very wonky, you know, he's a professor, and so it's very, very professorial, but he's able to present it so that, you know, I can understand it, so I think it's good. But affordability is always a challenge, because affordability to those two is different than affordability to other customers. And so what does that really mean? So we're trying to break that down better. And I would suggest that we hear that presentation, and then we take comments from the board on where we would like to maybe move towards,
Yep.
or not move.
Yeah.
But I think we have more education to do. But, you know, we just wanted to present what we've been doing, how it's being utilized. And so I think the team does a great job. One thing that I'm really proud of is the one slide that shows the use of it, like how the budget's grown. There, thank you. Look at the numbers. You know, 173 back in '22, now 340 residents are using it. Prior to that, we could make this slide bigger, and Director Denstedt may remember this, but we had a budget of $25,000 for like a decade, and we couldn't use it. Like, we wouldn't get anybody, not anybody, but not enough people to actually utilize the full budget. So I think we've made great progress in making people aware of the program. And so that was a good thing. So I think we've kind of checked that box that we've made people aware. And, you know, Darian and her team, they're constantly telling people when they call about their bill, and they reach out and say, hey, you should use this program. So I think we're making great progress. Now I think it's kind of on a policy side. We should think about, do we want to modify it?
Well, okay. I think it's an excellent opportunity for, you know, when you're getting ready to do that presentation, that perhaps he could kind of take a look at some of those questions and how he's going to slide that into his presentation as something that we've already raised, and what to take a look at for us to figure out what our next move is, you know, and how we're going to proceed. So, but I appreciate the conversation with this. This has been something that's very passionate to me. I tried for a lot of years, despite the efforts of BB&K to shut me down on a number of occasions and not say,
Not you, though.
not you,
Not
but,
you, Jeff.
but trying to just get this done to try to figure out how we could use funds and not be in violation of 218 and all these other regulations and all these other factors that came into play. It took us a really long time to stand this up. And I'm just very thankful that we were able to finally, and that it's gotten to the point that it is at, and that map was very educational. I mean, it's a wide reach. It's not just a concentrated area. It's a wide reach that's touching people. So I'm really glad that we have been able to reach our customers to let them know that this is available. So, but thank you for all the good work that you do on this.
Go ahead.
So, do we know that, are we using up all the funds?
gonna ask that.
All the funds?
We are. We have been exhausting the budget since 2025. I think 2025 was our first year where we met the entire budget, and that trend is continuing.
What happens?
Yeah, I was going to say, what
Yeah,
happens if you get
when
more
you get-
applications?
We beg Rick.
I was gonna say, I go to Rick, we beg Rick, and I say, pretty please.
And I say yes.
And Rick says yes.
These are, this shows budget, not expenditures.
Yes.
Okay.
So the budget's a planning document, so we plan. I get little emails from Rick that says, oh, FYI, Mr. General Manager, we're exceeding our budget now. Is that okay?
Yeah,
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
okay. Yeah, that'll be,
Rick for saying yes.
yes. Not turning away anybody. Yeah. Gracie, did you have comment?
No, but that was, no, after it was mentioned, it made me wonder, well, are we saying, sorry, bro, the money ran out?
Yeah.
I'm glad we're not.
Yeah, where are we? And I seem to recall at, it might have been at the Finance Committee, was at one of our committee meetings where I asked if we had, because I know these dollars have to come from certain places, and they can't come from other places. And I believe I asked if we had any more of a window in that area, and I believe I was told yes, but I don't remember what the amounts were.
Well, I think we would like to come back after August and get the board's input on things you would like staff to look at and bring back and propose a program.
Great. Okay, well, and you answered all my questions plus my note to ask if that was a future, could be a future agenda item. So it sounds like we're all good. Everybody's good on that? Thank you very much for that. Okay, let's see. Then we will move into director's comments and requests. SAPA is the first one.
SAPA met yesterday, and it is the season for approving the Statement of Investment Policy, and SAPA did theirs.
This season.
Yeah, ready or not. Commission also approved a resolution setting the Inland Empire brine line rates. That did pass unanimously, so we have a hearing coming up to essentially authorize those same rates here.
To implement them.
Yes, in early July, so that did happen. The commission authorized the general manager to execute an agreement with West Yost for a little over $650,000 to perform an ambient water quality storage model update. It's not been updated in 25 years. It's,
Wow.
it's part of our Santa Ana Regional Board requirement to have and operate this model. So it is time to update it. It passed unanimously, but I did remind them that Wes Jose is also the consultant, the engineer, for Chino Basin Water Master. And they're very technical. They are really good at modeling. And I reminded SOMPA that we are not a research university and we ought not be funding PhD level work. We need a model that is appropriate and functional, but we don't need the very best thing that the very best minds can come up with. And Wes Jose was online and heard that and nodded. So, but it is something that is very easy to have get out of control when the technical people who live models and make models get involved. So we could make this better for only this much more. And there, for models, there is a good enough. So that discussion happened. We got a legislative report and a strategic plan update, and a request for, a discussion for request for proposal for on-call grant writing opportunities. And the direction back to staff is go ahead and put out the RFP, but consider signing up 2 or 3 potential vendors who can help. Grants tend to come in clumps, and the staff can only deal with so many at a time, and there are some that people specialize in. Some specialize in federal stuff, some specialize in state stuff. So the direction of staff is see if you can't get some backup people that we can call on if we need to, who are experts in federal and experts in state. So that RFP will go out soon, and hopefully we'll get some people online. It is just an as-needed RFP, so if we don't need the service, they'll never be put to work. And that's it for softball.
Okay, thank you. Metropolitan Water District.
Metropolitan, well, it was a pretty quiet meeting. We had, you know, as we pass the budget, there's a lot of things that are now going out for awarding of bids for construction and contracts that we've got going on. So that's going to be at the top of the list for a lot of the things that we do at Metropolitan. We did have a lot of closed sessions this last time simply because it was an opportunity for us to do our yearly evaluation for our 4 direct reports. So general manager, general counsel, the auditor, and the ethics officer. So we were able to have a lot of those and give some feedback. We did award what they're calling a cost of wage versus a cost of living. Don't ask me what the difference is because I don't remember what the explanation is at this point. But we did that for each of the direct reports, so they all got an incremental increase, which is pretty much in line with what the employees are receiving for their MOUs over there. And the last thing I will report on is I did receive my 5-year PIN. And so I was called up and got to take a picture with the chair and got my PIN, and I didn't bring it today because I forgot, but that was kind of a special deal. And so I just wanted to say thank you to this board for having the faith in me to send me up to Metropolitan and represent this agency for the last 5 years. I do appreciate it. Well, that's all I have.
We appreciate you doing it, believe me. Okay, Chino Basin Water Master, next week, I think, right?
Yeah, they meet next week.
Yeah. And how about CDA?
CDA met back on June the 4th. It's still having been the season. They approved their investment policy without any changes. And then a whole lot of activity, pretty routine things, buying materials, hiring consultants to run smallish projects. It was pretty much all routine. That's
Okay.
it for CDA.
Great. And I think I saw that the next meeting was canceled.
Yeah, they will be dark in July. They typically are. There was some minor discussion that there could be something that would require a special meeting, and they will call that should it happen.
Okay.
There's a lot of activity at Chino Basin Water Master, which affects or may affect the DeSalter Authority.
Great. Thank you, Mike. Rikra?
It's dark in the summer, so we will meet in September next.
September. And WRCOG? Well, we know what you're going to say.
God, I can't get here soon enough. WRCOG General Assembly is tomorrow. It has been sold out for weeks. And I have to tell you that it has been a huge shock to me of how many people are a fan of Tony Hawk. And there are men of a certain age, I'm sorry, but y'all are fangirling this guy. It is just incredible to me. So we're sold out, so be thankful that you have a ticket and a table, because there have been people that have been calling us for the last couple of weeks, and they cannot get a ticket and get in that event to save their lives. So kudos to WRCOG staff for doing the job that they're doing. Looking forward to a very eventful evening. I look forward to having all of you there. As a reminder, during the business meeting of the portion of the General Assembly, you are all voting members. So, register your votes accordingly. They will all be recorded. So I will be there, and pray for me. Okay.
All right. And how about Sarah?
We met, it was the shortest meeting possible. It was 12 minutes long. Okay, yeah, it was, because we had met the month, earlier month, so it was just to approve the budget. So we did go ahead and approve the budget. The total operating budget increased 6.7%, and Western share of increase were 11.3% due to the increased flow from additional connection to the system from the extra development that's going on in that area. And overall increases driven by standard inflationary labor and benefit and chemical cost pressures, as well as increased outside services to address corrective maintenance. And the total non-operating increase in the budget was 6.2%, and Western share was 9.4% due to the shift in the type of projects. So increase driven by the increase is going to be driven by increase of new CIP projects that was anticipated in the 5-year CIP budget, and that was it.
Okay.
For Sarah.
Thank you. And how about Aqua?
Aqua, we did have a Region 9 board meeting to discuss our program and our lineup for the program that we're going to have down at Wilson Creek on July the 17th. And of course, Craig is going to be sitting on.
You might want to find something else to do that day. Prom on it.
So Wilson Creek, come on.
Yeah, that's right. Get there early. No, I think we've got some good general managers to be on that panel.
Yes.
I hope it's going to be good.
Yes.
I'm excited about it.
I expect that event to be sold out, so if you have not put your reservations in or gotten your tickets. Oh, good. Okay, so, good. We don't want to sold out. But yes, it will fill quickly, so we are expecting to have it be very popular because of the subject matter, because of the people that we got to sit and be part of the panels and the discussion. So looking forward to that. So looking forward to all of you joining me there. And we'll be staying after for our wonderful host at Wilson Creek. We'll be providing some nice beverages.
Nice. Okay. Thank you for that and for helping to plan that whole event. Next is director comments. Director Gardner, would you like to start?
Sure, just real quickly, for anybody who has not heard, there is a vacancy in the city manager spot in the city of Riverside.
When did Wait, are
Last
you
night.
the last to know? No, I'm joking. Oh, okay.
So he is on paid administrative leave until his official resignation takes effect on July the 5th. I have not heard about an interim person. I do not know whether they will pick one of the assistant city managers to act or if they will go outside. So we'll find out. But hopefully now there can be a little bit of peace in the valley.
Oh, let's hope. Very good. Director Nedstead?
Yes, I have a comment. So I want to go back to this comment that we had, this little conversation that we had at the very beginning of the meeting, when you said your water talk with your water miles per hour. I think it would be awesome if we could put together a couple of fun, short videos and do water talk to explain what those terminologies mean to people. And we could put them out there on our social media platforms. Staff could do TikTok videos, Instagram posts, Facebook, whatever, and do little 30-second things of, this is what this means.
Like fog.
Yeah, exactly. And
I love
just,
that one.
and just provide some generalized terms that we accept as part of our world, but a lot of the general public do not understand what that terminology means. So I think the way that you described that
Yeah,
for the
that was
CFS
perfect.
was perfect.
Yeah.
But people would get that. People would get that. So just a suggestion, I think it would be something fun for staff to do, and I think it would be well received by the public if they were to go in there and try to seek some educational experience.
Some Bill Nye energy.
Nice, okay.
Tim would be perfect.
Right?
Wait,
let's see Tim's reaction. Tim would be perfect.
Now he's shaking his
He could
head.
put the lab coat on.
Wait a minute, just.
We can volunteer him.
Don't miss meetings.
Wait, is he
Yeah.
saying something? Is he
Wait,
saying
I
something?
think I heard something.
From Sacramento.
What was that, Tim?
Happy to do whatever I'm told.
All right, that's our Tim. That's our Tim.
Oh, gosh. And Director Torres, do you have any
Oh.
comments?
Yes, I have just a few. I just want to start with, I was able to attend the Mission Grove Neighborhood Association meeting. And, you know, I just want to reiterate, they're not here. But our customer service team and our customer engagement team, they're just so amazing. I think there's going to be a presentation next month. I don't remember what it was about, but I think it's the one that we just heard. But regardless, you know, I love seeing that the public is, they depend on us and we deliver and we're there, we're communicating. And I think that, that was demonstrated in, the usage of our low-income assistance program. We're just doing a way better job at communicating what, Western has to offer in general. And so, and I love going to that meeting. I attend a lot less, but that's, again, because our team is doing just such a great job being present. They don't necessarily need the director there, and so thank you for that. I want to congratulate Rick on his graduation. Sorry to miss it, but again, Western's just consistent and steadfast participation in these things is so important. I want to, you know, acknowledge that Juneteenth is Friday. Happy Freedom Day to everyone. And happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all our fathers. And on that quick note, I had the opportunity to take my dad to the USA-Paraguay game in Inglewood, and it was phenomenal. So if you get an opportunity to witness a World Cup game, there was nothing like it. I was like doing an Eagles caw at the end of that game. It was just really, the energy was beautiful. It was I mean, I'm a World Cup person, but in general, but it was such a beautiful game. And so I'm going to take that note to wish my dad a happy Father's Day.
Alrighty. So I attended the Leadership Riverside Commencement Ceremony. I really always enjoy it. You know, you get to meet people from Riverside, and congratulations, Rick. Rick has been such a great addition to Western, and, you know, I'm like seeing him in the community with, you know, we're so proud of you. So congratulations and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. All right.
All right. So thank you, Craig, for your report from DC, and I don't have a whole lot to add, other than I was very honored to, as president, to be able to represent Western there. And I hadn't been in a bit, and I had sort of forgotten that feeling, the feeling of the city and its history and our country and foundation and all of that. And no matter who is in those buildings at any given time, it still is so historic and so inspiring to me. So I thoroughly enjoyed being there. I think our days were well spent. We were well received. I think even the one meeting that really sticks out to me, because I think there were certain expectations about it, but was EPA. And it was a great conversation and some back and forth and some suggestions back and forth. And it just was very encouraging. And so I also, and I hope you all don't ever get tired of us saying thank you to you as staff, but this booklet, notebook that I was given to take with me, Michael, as he's smiling back there, it was amazing. It was like a Bible.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of information, but it was very succinct. Gosh, my words are being messed up lately. It's tabbed by each meeting that we had and each PowerPoint that we gave, that led the conversations, and then just background information on the grants we've received. And it was wonderful. And each night, so Monday night and Tuesday night, I divided it by who we were seeing the next day and was able to just do kind of a review, before I went to sleep. Didn't sleep a lot there because of the time change, but I managed to sleep on the plane. So I just wanted to say thank you, because it was, for me, a person who loves to have as much information as possible, and almost sometimes to the point of overkill, to where I get mixed up because I have too much information. But this was just so well done, so helpful, and it's such an example of our staff. I know a lot of work goes into getting these trips, whether it's making our reservations, making sure we have, meals when we need to, and all of that, and then scheduling all these meetings. And our lobbyists, getting to know our lobbyists even better, and in person, was fun. And just getting to know them in a different way. And Mark Limbaugh and Chris Kearney are very different people, and they're both just so effective in their own way, and we're very lucky to. And I know it's not luck, but we're very lucky to have them, I think, as our team back there. So I just wanted to share that, and thank you all for me being able to go and do that, because it was invigorating, it was inspiring. I'm not going to say exhausting. It really was not exhausting. It was a good tired, as my mom used to say. It was a good tired. So thank you for that. And and then this morning, just really briefly, I was able to attend Norco Chamber breakfast, which was the first time I'd been able to go to that in quite a while. And so it was so good to see them. And I was able to share with them about what's going on with SB 72 and the advisory committee. And there was a lot of interest. I saw, it's kind of a horseshoe set up in the tables. And I saw a lot of people actually listening to what was happening. And there had been someone that I was speaking to before the meeting started, and I mentioned it to this person. And he said, oh, well, yeah, bills, they pass and then nothing gets done. I said, oh, no, no, no. This bill is different. I said, this is actionable. And I said, Craig Miller is leading the charge and he will not let this go. So it's going to be very good. And I, explained how you can participate as public and how you can watch the meetings of the advisory committee and all of that. So it was good. And they did a presentation on AI, and mainly on AI, a little bit about cybersecurity, but it was really good. It was from a gentleman that I guess that's like his consulting business, but it was very down to earth. There were only a few things that went way over my head of how to remedy certain things. He lost me with that. But as far as his philosophy on AI and what it is and what it isn't was really interesting. So I was very, very glad to be able to be there and see all of them again. But so I just wanted to share that. And with that, do we have any requests for future agenda items other than the upcoming affordability presentation in August? Is there anything else anybody's requesting? No? Okay, then we will move into closed session. Mr. Ballinger, would you like to take us into that?
Yes, the board will be discussing the two items that are listed on the agenda, and as a reminder, we'll be coming out and discussing the one item that was added as a late breaking item after that.
Okay.
Shall we?
Hey, Tim. Yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay, you'll need to restart the recording.
Sounds good.
They're crazy.
Sorry. We'll call our meeting back into open session at 12:35. Is that right? 12:34. And Mr. Ballinger, would you like to bring us back into open session, please?
Yes, Honorable Mayor, President and council members, I'm in the wrong forum, I'm sorry.
That was back in the day.
I once called a mayor Your Honor, think I was in court, so not that quick. The board met in closed session to discuss the two items that are listed on the agenda. The board voted 5-0 with motion by Vice President Rizvi and second by Board Member Gardner to initiate litigation. More information will be available after service has been effectuated. There was no reportable action on the second item.
Okay, we are now going to move to agenda item, well, this says 7, is that?
It is number
Okay.
7.
Okay, okay. Agenda item 7, and Mr. Miller, I will put that over to you.
All right. We were recently notified of an inspection into one of our pipelines, the Mills Gravity Line, that there is potential, or there are cracks that are visible, and we need to address it. We didn't find that out until yesterday after the posting of the agenda. And so Derek Kwai, Director of Engineering, has been following this issue, and he'll give the board a report. And the request out of this will be to declare, for the board to declare an emergency so that we can immediately address this issue.
Okay. President Roden and members of the board, the item before you is a request to adopt resolution number 3394, declaring an emergency condition for the Mills Gravity Line, or MGL, and authorizing immediate actions necessary to protect and repair the pipeline without proceeding through the normal public bidding process. The MGL is one of Western's critical transmission facilities. It is a 60-inch diameter concrete cylinder pipeline that provides service to Western's retail system and also supports deliveries to several wholesale agencies, including the City of Corona, the City of Riverside, Temecula Valley Water District, and Elsinore Valley Water District. Because of the importance of this facility, and any prolonged shutdown or failure of the Mills Gravity Line would create significant operational risk and could affect water availability to multiple agencies and service areas. This matter arises from grading activities associated with the Prenda development, track 31799. Additional fill was placed over the existing Mills Gravity Line without Western's authorization. Based on our current understanding, the amount of fill placed over the pipeline exceeds 20 feet of overburden in this area. That level of additional loading was not authorized by Western Western Water, and it significantly changes the conditions under which the pipeline is operating. Following our concerns, the pipeline was exposed and visually inspected. Black & Veatch performed a visual and sounding assessment of the exposed 60-inch concrete cylinder pipe on June 5th. Their report found axial cracking along the exposed pipe segment, extending nearly the full exposed length of the barrel. The cracking is located near the spring line on both sides of the pipe, with measured crack widths up to approximately 0.7 millimeters. The report also identified distress at the downstream joint, including a damaged and partially opened joint, and up to approximately 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch of separation at the joint, indicating movement from the overburden. The report did not identify any delamination or hollow sounding areas in the pipe barrel, but the observed cracking and joint distress are significant findings for a pipeline of this size and importance. I must add that the report is just the inspector's report that is typically written up following their inspection. It does not come to conclusions. The report regarding opinions on the pipe and its level of distress will be forthcoming. So yesterday, staff learned through discussions with Black & Veatch that the cracks appear to be new because there is no evidence of rust staining at the cracks. This is an important observation. If these cracks had been long-standing, we would typically expect some indication of rust or staining associated with moisture, exposure, and corrosion products. The absence of rust suggests that the cracks are recent. In staff's judgment, this strongly indicates that the cracks are related to the recently placed excessive fill and the resulting additional loading on the pipeline. Based on this information, staff does not believe this is a condition that can wait for normal design, bidding, and construction process. The pipeline has already been subjected to excessive loading, cracking has been observed along the pipe barrel, and the downstream joint shows distress. The concern is not simply long-term deterioration. The concern is that the pipeline has experienced recent change in loading condition that may have already compromised the pipe and could lead to further cracking, joint movement, leakage, or ultimately rupture if corrective action is delayed. For that reason, staff is recommending that the board declare an emergency condition. The purpose of this emergency declaration is to allow Western Water to move immediately to design and implement the necessary repair measures, retain the required engineering, geotechnical, environmental, and construction support, and avoid any delays that would result from a competitive bidding process. At this time, staff preliminary estimates for the emergency repair is approximately $1.5 million. However, we do not have the report from Black & Veatch, and this number could go up from there. Once we finally have the report, we will return back to the board and request actual appropriations. The proposed resolution finds that the emergency will not permit the delay associated with competitive bidding and authorizes the general manager or his designee to take the directly related and immediate actions necessary to respond to the condition of the Mills gravity line. The resolution also requires staff to report back to the board at each regularly scheduled meeting regarding the status of the emergency and the need to continue the emergency action until the emergency is terminated. Staff recommends that the board adopt Resolution 3394 by at least 4/5 vote, declaring an emergency condition and authorizing immediate actions to address the emergency repair of the Mills gravity line. I'd be happy to take any questions.
I'll also add some context in the urgency. The board is well aware that this is a major transmission pipeline. This is the drinking water source to partial drinking water source for Corona, the sole drinking water source for Temescal Valley, part of the drinking water supply for Elsinore. It's about 250,000 people that count on this pipeline for water. So it is a very urgent issue for us to remediate this.
For our retail customers.
Okay.
Significant.
And if I could just make one clarification at the very beginning of your presentation, I believe you may have said Temecula Valley instead of Temescal Valley.
Thank you for that correction. I have in my notes Temescal, but I probably said Temecula. So I apologize for that.
They're very similar. Yeah, just wanted it for the record. Do we have any questions or anything, concerns?
Not a question, but this is something that is really major to us, and to the people that we owe water service to.
Yes.
I mean, there is a real risk if we don't fix this, that line could fail. And there's enough water in it that alone is a problem, to have that much water loose in the landscape. But that would be a significantly long shutdown to make that kind of a emergency repair. I don't think we have any of that pipe sitting on the shelf. And our guys can't fabricate it.
Well, we actually, we did a project where we actually designed 2 segments each of each size of the nose gravity line, and we did purchase those and we set them aside.
Good.
And so we would use those if they're applicable. I think it might affect more than the 2 pipe segments that we have for the 60-inch.
It could, but in any event, the real issue is the people who would be without water service if it fails.
Yeah.
And if we have to replace line and we can do it during the winter period when the demand for water is lower, there should be less effect on customers. So, yeah, I will move the item. I think this is something we need to do.
I'll second, go ahead. I'll second it, but I want to just piggyback on your comments that not only is the risk significant, that the significant risk is obviously that people can go without water, and it could be an extended period of time. But if we don't do this now, and it failed once with us knowing there's an issue, and 2, without us taking care of it, the cost is going to be even more than what it could possibly be. And so I commend the staff for catching this, paying attention to what is going on around, especially such an important line, and taking action before things get a lot worse, both in our service as well as in cost of making sure that our assets are taken care of.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. I don't see any public comment.
We have no public comment.
Okay, I think we're ready to vote.
Director Gardner.
Aye.
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Dinstadt.
Aye.
Director Rizvi.
Aye.
President Roten.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, directors.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. Just a notation, item 11, we have an investment report from April 2026, and our next meeting is Wednesday, July 1, 2026, right here at 9:30. And if there's nothing else, we are adjourned at 12:40.